The Galactic Empire's hubris. For millennia, the Galactic Empire had reigned supreme over the vast expanse of the known universe. With its advanced technologies, powerful military, and unwavering belief in its own superiority, the Empire had subjugated countless civilizations and brought them under its iron-fisted rule. The Emperor, a figure shrouded in mystery and feared by all, sat upon his throne on the capital world of Zephyria, secure in the knowledge that his dominion was absolute and unchallenged. Among the many species that the Empire had encountered and conquered, humanity was barely a footnote. Hailing from the small, unremarkable planet of Earth, humans were viewed as a primitive and insignificant race, hardly worth the attention of the Empire's ruling elite. Earth's location on the fringes of the Empire's territory only reinforced this dismissive attitude, and the Empire's leaders saw no reason to expend resources on a world that offered little in the way of strategic value or valuable resources. However, the Empire's hubris blinded them to the potential threat that humanity posed. Unknown to the Emperor and his inner circle, the people of Earth had been quietly building their strength and biding their time. United under a single global government and driven by a fierce determination to forge their own destiny, humanity had poured all of its resources into the development of advanced technologies that would one day allow them to stand toe-to-toe with the Empire. In secret laboratories and hidden shipyards scattered across Earth and its neighboring star systems, human scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to create a fleet of warships that would rival anything the Empire had ever seen. Powered by revolutionary propulsion systems and armed with weapons of unparalleled destructive power, these ships were the culmination of decades of research and development, funded by the pooled resources of the entire human race. As the Empire continued to expand its reach and tighten its grip on the galaxy, humanity's leaders knew that the time for action was fast approaching. They had no illusions about the scale of the challenge they faced, but they also knew that they had no choice but to fight. The alternative was to submit to the Empire's rule and resign themselves to a future of servitude and oppression, a fate that no human was willing to accept. And so, in the shadows of the Empire's vast domain, humanity prepared for war. Their fleet, hidden from the prying eyes of imperial spies, grew in size and strength with each passing day. The men and women who would crew these ships trained relentlessly, honing their skills and steeling their resolve for the battles to come. They knew that they were the last line of defense for their species, the only thing standing between humanity and annihilation. The stage was set for a conflict that would shake the very foundations of the galaxy. The Empire, secure in its power and arrogance, remained oblivious to the gathering storm. But humanity, driven by a fierce determination to survive and prosper, was ready to unleash a fury that would rock the Empire to its core. The time had come for the oppressed to rise up and take their destiny into their own hands, and nothing in the universe would stand in their way. Humanity's hidden strength. As the Galactic Empire tightened its grip on the known universe, the people of Earth worked tirelessly to develop the technologies that would one day allow them to break free from the shackles of oppression. The global government, formed in the wake of the Empire's first incursions into human space, had recognized early on that humanity's only hope for survival lay in the development of advanced technologies that could rival those of the Empire. At the heart of this effort was the Global Defense Initiative, GDI, a top-secret organization tasked with overseeing the research and development of humanity's most cutting-edge technologies. Funded by the pooled resources of the entire human race and staffed by the brightest minds from every corner of the globe, the GDI worked tirelessly to push the boundaries of what was possible. One of the GDI's most significant breakthroughs was in the field of propulsion technology. Human scientists had long theorized about the possibility of faster-than-light travel, but it was the GDI that finally cracked the code. By harnessing the power of artificial wormholes and developing advanced quantum entanglement drives, the GDI's engineers were able to create ships that could traverse vast distances in the blink of an eye, outpacing even the fastest Imperial vessels. But speed alone would not be enough to defeat the Empire's vast armadas. The GDI knew that humanity's ships would also need to be armed with the most powerful weapons ever conceived. To this end, the organization poured vast resources into the development of advanced energy weapons, including plasma cannons and antimatter torpedoes, capable of devastating even the most heavily armored Imperial warships. To protect their own vessels from the Empire's formidable arsenal, the GDI's engineers developed a revolutionary new type of shielding technology. By generating a field of artificially induced gravitational distortion around each ship, the GDI shields were able to absorb and deflect incoming enemy fire, providing an unprecedented level of protection for human crews. But technology alone would not be enough to win the coming war. The GDI recognized that the success of humanity's rebellion would depend just as much on the skill and determination of the men and women who would crew these advanced ships. To this end, the organization established a rigorous training program designed to produce the most elite fighting force in the galaxy. Drawn from the ranks of Earth's most talented and dedicated individuals, GDI recruits were subjected to a grueling regimen of physical, mental, and tactical training. They learned to operate the advanced systems of humanity's new fleet, to think strategically in the heat of battle, and to fight with an unwavering resolve against the Empire's relentless onslaught. As the years passed, and humanity's strength grew in secret, the GDI's fleet expanded to include thousands of advanced warships, each one a testament to the ingenuity and determination of the human spirit. And though the Empire remained oblivious to the gathering storm, the people of Earth knew that the day of reckoning was fast approaching. With their advanced technologies, powerful weapons, and unbreakable spirit, humanity stood ready to face the greatest challenge in their history. They would fight not just for their own survival, but for the freedom of all those who suffered under the Empire's tyrannical rule. And in the end, they would prove to the galaxy that the human race was a force to be reckoned with, a species that would never surrender in the face of even the most overwhelming odds. The calm before the storm. As humanity's fleet grew in strength and numbers, the Galactic Empire remained blissfully unaware of the gathering storm. The Emperor and his inner circle were consumed by the day-to-day business of running their vast dominion. Their attention focused on quelling minor uprisings and consolidating their power in the far reaches of the galaxy. In the grand halls of the Imperial Palace on Zephyria, the Empire's ruling elite engaged in petty squabbles and political maneuvering, jockeying for position and favor with the Emperor. They paid little heed to the reports from the Empire's intelligence networks, which spoke of unusual activity on the fringes of human space. After all, what threat could the primitive and insignificant humans possibly pose to the might of the Galactic Empire? But while the Empire's leaders were lulled into a false sense of security, humanity's fleet was on the move. From hidden bases and secret shipyards scattered throughout the galaxy, the Global Defense Initiative's warships began to converge on strategic locations near key Imperial strongholds. They moved with a stealth and precision that belied their size and power, thanks to the advanced cloaking technologies developed by human scientists. As the fleet assembled, the GDI's leadership met in secret to finalize their plans for the coming attack. They knew that the success of their mission would depend on striking hard and fast, taking the Empire by surprise, and dealing a crippling blow to its military infrastructure. To this end, they had identified a number of high-value targets, including the Empire's main shipyards, supply depots, and communication hubs. But even as the human fleet moved into position, tensions within the Empire were reaching a boiling point. On the conquered worlds that chafed under Imperial rule, whispers of rebellion were growing louder by the day. The Empire's iron grip was beginning to slip, and its leaders were becoming increasingly paranoid and erratic in their efforts to maintain control. In the halls of power on Zephyria, factions within the Imperial court jockeyed for influence and control, each seeking to advance their own agendas at the expense of their rivals. The Emperor himself, once a figure of unquestioned authority, now seemed distant and preoccupied, his attention consumed by the growing unrest within his own ranks. All the while, humanity's fleet waited in the shadows, poised to strike at a moment's notice. The GDI's commanders knew that the time for secrecy was almost over. Soon, the Empire would learn of their existence, and the full might of its military machine would be brought to bear against them. But they also knew that they had the element of surprise on their side, and that the Empire's overconfidence and lack of preparation would work to their advantage. As the final pieces of the GDI's plan fell into place, the tension in the galaxy reached a fever pitch. The stage was set for a conflict that would determine the fate of billions of lives and reshape the course of galactic history. And though the humans knew that the odds were stacked against them, they were ready to fight with every ounce of strength and determination they possessed. For in the hearts of every man and woman in the GDI's fleet burned the unquenchable fire of freedom, the unwavering belief that no power in the universe had the right to enslave or oppress another. And it was this belief that would carry them through the battles to come, this indomitable human spirit that would prove to be the Empire's undoing in the end. The Empire struck. The attack came without warning, a coordinated strike against the very heart of the Galactic Empire. One moment, the Imperial outposts and shipyards were operating as they always had, the hum of activity and the bustle of daily life, masking the underlying tensions that had been building for years. The next, the sky above erupted in a fierce barrage of plasma fire and antimatter detonations as the warships of the Global Defense Initiative materialized out of the void. The initial shock of the attack was overwhelming, even for the battle-hardened Imperial forces. The human ships, with their advanced cloaking technology and lightning-fast maneuvers, seemed to appear out of nowhere, striking with a precision and ferocity that caught the Empire's defenders completely off guard. In a matter of moments, the once proud Imperial installations were reduced to rubble, their defenses crumbling like sand before the relentless onslaught of the human fleet. On the bridge of the GDI's flagship, the indomitable Admiral Ilara Voss watched with grim satisfaction as the Empire's forces scrambled to mount a defense. She had spent years planning this moment, poring over every detail of the enemy's strengths and weaknesses, and now her hard work was finally paying off. With a silent nod to her crew, she ordered the fleet to press the attack, determined to drive the Empire back and secure a foothold in this crucial sector of space. As news of the attack spread throughout the Empire, panic and disbelief began to take hold. The Emperor himself, stunned by the suddenness and severity of the human offensive, retreated to his inner sanctum, his once unshakable confidence shattered by the realization that his empire was not as invincible as he had believed. In the streets of Zephyria, the capital world, citizens huddled in fear as the distant sounds of battle echoed through the air, a grim reminder of the chaos that had engulfed their once peaceful galaxy. But even as the Empire reeled from the initial shock of the attack, the human fleet pressed its advantage. The GDI ships, equipped with the most advanced weapons and shielding technology ever devised, tore through the Imperial defenses like a hot knife through butter. The plasma cannons and antimatter torpedoes of the human warships proved devastating against the Empire's ships, their hulls buckling and shattering under the relentless barrage of fire. On the ground, human Marines in advanced power armor stormed the Empire's fortifications, their weapons spitting death and destruction with every pull of the trigger. The Imperial soldiers, once feared as the most formidable fighting force in the galaxy, found themselves outmatched and outgunned at every turn, their tactics and training woefully inadequate in the face of this new and terrifying enemy. As the battle raged on, the true extent of humanity's technological superiority became clear. The Empire's ships, once thought to be the pinnacle of military might, were little more than slow, lumbering targets compared to the lightning-fast and nimble vessels of the GDI. And with each passing moment, more and more of the Empire's forces fell before the relentless advance of the human fleet, their ranks thinning, and their morale crumbling in the face of this unexpected and overwhelming threat. In the end, the outcome was inevitable. The Empire's defenses, built up over centuries of unchallenged dominance, proved no match for the sheer determination and technological prowess of the human race. And as the last Imperial ships fled the field of battle, their hulls battered and smoking, the true magnitude of humanity's victory became clear. For the first time in living memory, the Galactic Empire had been brought to its knees, its aura of invincibility shattered beyond repair. The tide turns. In the wake of the human fleet's devastating attack, the Galactic Empire found itself reeling, its once unassailable grip on the galaxy suddenly thrown into question. But even as the Empire's leaders struggled to come to terms with the magnitude of their defeat, they knew that they could not afford to hesitate. The survival of their regime depended on their ability to mount a swift and decisive counterattack, to crush the human rebellion before it could gain momentum, and inspire others to rise up against Imperial rule. Across the galaxy, the Empire's war machine sprang into action, mobilizing every available ship and soldier for the fight ahead. From the shipyards of Zephyria to the training grounds of the Imperial Military Academy, the Empire's forces worked around the clock to prepare for the coming battle, driven by a grim determination to avenge their fallen comrades and restore the Empire's honor. Leading the Imperial counterattack was Grand Admiral Xavian Vex, a brilliant tactician and a ruthless commander who had earned a reputation as one of the Empire's most formidable warriors. Vex had long been a vocal critic of the Empire's complacency in the face of the growing human threat, and now, with the fate of the galaxy hanging in the balance, he was determined to prove that the Empire was still a force to be reckoned with. As the Imperial fleet converged on the sector where the human attack had taken place, Vex couldn't help but feel a sense of grim anticipation. He knew that the coming battle would be unlike anything the Empire had ever faced before, a clash of titans that would determine the course of galactic history for generations to come. And though he respected the humans' technological prowess and tactical skill, he was confident that the Empire's superior numbers and firepower would ultimately carry the day. But as the two fleets finally came within range of each other, it quickly became clear that the Empire had once again underestimated the humans' capabilities. The GDI ships, moving with a speed and agility that defied belief, darted in and out of the Imperial formation, striking with devastating precision before vanishing back into the void. The Imperial ships, by contrast, seemed slow and clumsy, their bulky hulls and outdated weapons no match for the humans' advanced technology. As the battle raged on, the toll on the Imperial fleet began to mount. Ships that had once been the pride of the Empire now drifted lifeless in space, their hulls shattered and their crews lost to the unforgiving vacuum. Even Vex's flagship, a massive dreadnought that had been the terror of a dozen star systems, found itself battered and bleeding, its once impregnable shields flickering and failing under the relentless onslaught of the human weapons. But even in the face of such overwhelming odds, the Imperial forces refused to give in. They fought with a ferocity and determination that surprised even their own commanders, driven by a deep-seated belief in the righteousness of their cause and a burning desire to defend their way of life. And though they suffered grievous losses, they managed to inflict significant damage on the human fleet as well, their superior numbers and firepower taking a heavy toll on the GDI ships. In the end, however, it was the humans' tactical brilliance and unbreakable spirit that proved decisive. Outnumbered and outgunned, they nevertheless managed to outmaneuver and outfight the Imperial forces at every turn, their ships dancing through the chaos of battle with a grace and precision that left their enemies in awe. And as the last Imperial ship finally fell, its engines guttering and its hull consumed by the flames of its own destruction, the true magnitude of the humans' victory became clear. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Empire had been defeated in open battle, its aura of invincibility shattered beyond repair. And though the war was far from over, the tide had irrevocably turned in favor of the humans and their allies, the once unassailable grip of the Empire on the galaxy now hanging by a thread. A new galactic order. In the aftermath of the Empire's crushing defeat, a new era dawned upon the galaxy. The once mighty Galactic Empire, its fleets shattered and its armies in disarray, retreated to its core worlds, desperately trying to hold onto what little power and influence it had left. But even as the Empire struggled to regroup, it was clear to all who witnessed the events of those fateful days that the balance of power had irrevocably shifted. Across the galaxy, long-oppressed species and subjugated worlds rose up in rebellion, emboldened by the humans' victory, and determined to throw off the yoke of imperial rule once and for all. The Empire, its resources stretched thin, and its resolve weakened by the humiliating defeat, could do little to stem the tide of revolution, and one by one, its vassal states and conquered territories slipped from its grasp. At the forefront of this new era stood the humans, the unlikely heroes who had overcome impossible odds to challenge the might of the Empire and emerge victorious. In the wake of their triumph, the people of Earth found themselves suddenly thrust onto the galactic stage, their advanced technologies and indomitable spirit earning them the respect and admiration of countless species across the stars. Under the leadership of the Global Defense Initiative, humanity began to forge a new path for itself and for the galaxy as a whole. The GDI, once a secretive military organization, now emerged as a beacon of hope and progress, its scientists and engineers working tirelessly to share their knowledge and resources with all who sought a better future. In the years that followed, humanity's influence continued to grow as more and more species flocked to their banner and pledged their support to the cause of freedom and justice. The GDI, now a major power in its own right, worked to establish a new galactic order built on the principles of cooperation, mutual respect, and the rule of law. But even as humanity and its allies worked to build a brighter future, the remnants of the Empire remained a constant threat, lurking in the shadows and plotting their revenge. The Emperor, humbled but not broken by his defeat, vowed to restore the glory of the Empire and crush the human upstarts who had dared to challenge his rule. And so, even as a new era of peace and prosperity dawned upon the galaxy, the specter of war continued to loom on the horizon. The humans and their allies knew that they could not afford to rest on their laurels, that they must remain vigilant and ready to defend their hard-won freedoms against any who would seek to take them away. But despite the challenges that lay ahead, there was a sense of hope and optimism that pervaded the galaxy, a feeling that anything was possible now that the old order had been shattered and a new one was rising to take its place. The humans, once dismissed as primitives and backwater upstarts, had proven themselves to be a force to be reckoned with, a species with the courage, determination, and ingenuity to shape the very fabric of the universe itself. And as the galaxy looked to the future, it did so with a newfound sense of purpose and unity, a belief that together they could overcome any obstacle and build a better tomorrow for all. The road ahead would be long and difficult, but with the humans and their allies leading the way, there was no limit to what they could achieve, no dream too grand or vision too bold to be realized. So it was that a new chapter in the history of the galaxy began, a chapter written in the blood and sacrifice of heroes, and in the hopes and dreams of countless billions. And though the future remained uncertain, one thing was clear: the universe would never be the same again, and the name of humanity would forever be remembered as the spark that ignited the flame of a new and brighter age.